Live from WFSB, Elliot Polikoff with Sports Sunday.
Welcome to Sports Sunday, and boy, do we have a jam-packed show tonight. March Madness in both basketball and in hockey, and the story of a girls baseball player doing big things in the Nutmeg State. But we're going to start things off with the UConn women, looking for their 12th straight trip to the Final Four. But to get there, they had to take down one of the two teams that had already beaten them this season. The Huskies and Louisville facing off in Albany. UConn lost to the Cardinals 78-69 2 months ago to this day, but that was in Kentucky. Katie Lou Samuelson and the Huskies feeling a lot more at home in New York, but Louisville comes back. They're up 4. Check out this sequence. Megan Walker just finished putting her shoe back on at midcourt, and now she decides to take a shot from the top of the key, and she drains the triple. She made 4 of those in the first half, and UConn as a whole couldn't really miss from downtown. Crystal Dangerfield to give the Huskies the lead, and she drains it. And then late in the second quarter, Louisville still hanging around. Nafisa Collier driving in addition to Katie Lou Samuelson. And what a step back by the senior All-American. That bad back doesn't seem to be an issue right there. Huskies led by 7 at the half. Fourth quarter, 4-point game. Kristen Williams, that is a freshman doing non-freshman things right there, and 1 bucket. Lead back up to 7 after the free throw. Back to 4. Give it to Katie Lou. She had 7 threes on the day, and this one was really the dagger. Just over 3 minutes to go. Comes off the screen, firing the 3, and the foul. She missed the free throw, about the only thing she missed today. 29 points. Love that face by Gino right there. Louisville cut it to 2 in the closing seconds, but they can never get over the hump. UConn wins it 80-73, and we had team coverage up in Albany this afternoon. Here is my post-game report. People have doubted the UConn Huskies all year long, but in the end, they are right back where they've been for the past 11 years. They are advancing to the Final Four. The confetti is in the air as UConn beats Louisville 80-73 to punch their ticket to Tampa. A 2 seed, a team that got all it could handle from Buffalo and UCLA. This group of UConn Huskies has heard all the hate. They just haven't let it get to them.
This team, we've worked so hard to get to this point, and it really feels like, we've earned this opportunity, and so we're excited to get another chance.
This is just, an unbelievable feeling. Nothing's come easy for us this year. We've earned every second, so just doing this with this team is just the best feeling.
There were a lot of people that didn't think that we were going to get to the Final Four, let alone the Elite 8, Sweet 16, and so on, so we wanted to first just prove to ourselves that we were capable of doing something like this, and we went out and did it.
And now the Huskies. This group of Huskies are 2 wins away from a national championship, surprising even their head coach in the process.
We've had some amazing teams, loaded with great players, iconic players. This isn't one of them. This is a team of, a couple players that are pretty amazing, and a couple players that may be amazing down the road.
It hasn't always been pretty for the UConn women in the NCAA tournament, but in the end, they found a way to get the job done each and every game. And really, a different player coming up big for the Huskies in each game. For more on who came out big against Louisville, Joe Zone talks about UConn's senior leader.
Nobody knew how Katie Lou Samuelson would play today. Even she didn't know what kind of shape she'd be in, especially after the last game, going right to the trainer's table, being worked on for that sore back. But in the biggest game of the season, for UConn for sure, she steps up and has what I say was her biggest game.
For her to make that kind of turnaround in 2 days, it was unbelievable.
Gino Auriemma has always said at this time of the year, your best players have to play their best game.
Coming into this game, we all felt like there was a little bit of unfinished business from the last game. There was a little bit of extra motivation, and we wanted to give ourselves a chance to get to the Final Four. And so with that and that much focus and that many things all coming at you, it's easy to just play. Just go out there and play as hard as you can, play with everything you have in you. So it was easy to not.
Gino, you have said one of your players was going to have to step up, at least one. Did you have any idea, especially after Friday, that player was going to be Katie Lou Samuelson?
I guess when you have a player that's done so much like she has in her 4 years, you expect them to bounce back.
Auriemma said the key was to get Samuelson involved early. She hit her first shot and then went on to score a game-high 29.
Credit to her. She's a great player, and if she plays like that, like this, continuing on, they're going to be hard to beat.
For me, I wanted to make a little bit more of an impact offensively and make sure that I was involved in, Friday's game. We didn't necessarily need that from me, and I felt like today I did need to step up, so I did what I could to help win the game.
She's a great leader on the floor, so I love you, man. She's just a great teammate, so I'm not surprised that she made those big plays.
And if Samuelson's back is as okay as it looked like it was today, UConn will be looking good. They'll be in the game for sure when they get to the Final Four. With the UConn women at the Albany Regional, Joe Zone, Channel 3 for Sports Sunday.
All right, thank you very much, Joe. On to the men's final 2 Elite 8 matchups today, starting with Michigan State and Duke. Late second half here, R.J. Barrett giving the Blue Devils the lead with a 3-ball, but back come the Spartans. Under a minute left, Kenny Goins for 3 and for the lead. And he gets it. Michigan State on top, 68-66. Now with less than 5 seconds left, Spartans up 1. And nobody on Duke can catch Cassius Winston. He runs out the clock for the Spartans. Michigan State wins at 68-67. They will play Texas Tech in the Final Four in Minneapolis. An all-SEC battle earlier in the day between Auburn and Kentucky. Final seconds of regulation. Game tied at 60. Kentucky with a couple of chances inside, but the shot blocked not once, but twice. And we are headed to overtime. And in OT, it was all Auburn. Jared Harper with 2 of his 26 points in the game for Auburn on that layup. And the Tigers celebrated in Kansas City. They beat Kentucky 77-71, and they advanced to their first Final Four in the program's history. They're going to take on Virginia. Shifting gears to some hockey and a spot in the Frozen Four on the line for the Quinnipiac Bobcats, but they had to beat the defending champs Minnesota Duluth. No score late in the second period. Peter Krieger changing that for the Bulldogs. Beautiful wrister. 1-0 Minnesota Duluth on top. Then on a 3-on-1 in the third period, Kobe Roth lights the lamp to make it a 2-0 lead for Minnesota Duluth. Give credit to the Bobcats, though. They kept battling. Craig Martin finally getting one in for Quinnipiac on a 6-on-4, but in the end, just too big of a hole for the Bobcats to dig out of. They fall 3-1. Still, congrats to Quinnipiac on a fantastic season. The New York Yankees, they made a strong opening day impression against Baltimore, but they were brought down to earth yesterday. Not getting much of anything going on offense until it was too late. And yet, there's still 150-plus games left in the season, but when you play the Orioles, you got to win those games. An anchorman race at the stadium this afternoon. This one was won by Ron Burgundy. Scoreless game in the first. 2 men on. Renato Nunez smashing the 3-run blast left off of J.A. Happ. It is 3-1, Baltimore on top. Third inning, Orioles continue to tee off on Happ. This time, Trey Mancini smashing a solo shot to center field. 4-0 Baltimore. New York responds in the bottom of the fourth. Aaron Judge ripping the single to right. That scores 2 runs for the Yankees, and suddenly it's a 1-run ball game. But the Bronx Bombers could just not keep the ball in the ballpark against Baltimore. Joey Rickard with a 2-run homer in the 8th for the Orioles, and Baltimore wins the rubber match game at Yankee Stadium 7-5. The Red Sox, meanwhile, hoping to get a split of their 4-game series out in Seattle against the Mariners. Red Sox up 3-2 in the third. Seattle takes the lead right here, courtesy of Omar Narvaez. No doubt about that one. All of a sudden, 5-3 Mariners. Same inning, more trouble for the Sox. Mitch Haniger cranking the double into left field. That brings in 2 more runs for Seattle. The Mariners scored 7 times in the third alone to make it a 9-3 ball game. JD Martinez trying to get the Sox back in it with a 3-run shot in the fourth. That cuts the deficit in half, but trailing by 6 runs is a tall task to overcome. The hits kept coming for Seattle in the fourth. Former Met Jay Bruce solo shot, and the Mariners go on to beat the Red Sox 10-8. Boston starting out the season 1-3. But something tells me Sox fans aren't worried just yet. The Mets looking to finish off a season opening series sweep of the Nats playing in D.C. New York's Pete Alonso continuing his hot play, ripping a double into left. Brandon Nimmo scores, and the Mets are on the board first. But back comes Washington. Trey Turner, 2 on. Turns on that Zach Wheeler pitch, and he puts that one into the seats. 3-1 Nationals. Fast forward to the bottom of the 9th. Game tied at 5. Not any longer. Turner again, this time with the dagger. A walk-off solo shot. And the Nationals, they avoid the sweep, and they beat the Mets 6-5. Still a lot more to come tonight on this edition of Sports Sunday. When we come back, baseball season, it is here, and Connecticut's got a pretty special ball player. We're going to tell you a lot more about her right after the break.